Hey, what's up, everyone? I hope everyone is having a good day. Today, I wanted to kind of do an overall market recap of kind of what's going on with the markets, what's going on with tariff news, Trump, and just the overall market sentiment. And just to give you guys kind of where I think the market might go from the last video that I did. If you did not see that video, I will leave it in the comments below so you guys can go watch that or in the description. But just to kind of follow up on that video, I sort of spoke about kind of the market projections going forward, right? I mentioned that, look, I think that the markets can probably go higher given the sentiment. We're driven in a bear driven market with news, right? It's a news driven bear market. And of course, most recently, we've seen that Donald Trump has, one, seized fire with the war in Iran. And that actually has caused some relief in the markets, specifically even the S&P now making new highs slightly, and with Nvidia making new highs as well. Something I did want to show you guys here is something I posted in May 5th. I put here, people complain about these tariffs, yet this is the best opportunity to buy long-term equities. Just like crypto, real estate, and stocks, all sectors are cyclical. If you studied Trump's presidency in 2017, you would see patterns, right? Back in 2020, that's where we had the bull run because we had inflation go through the roof. COVID was unexpected, a lot of uncertainty in the markets, and of course supply chain issues, which later then caused the whole market to go crazy. Went to in the bear market, and where did the money go? The money went to cryptocurrency because the economy was flooded with stimulus checks, right? And that flooded the whole economy, which puts us into the position of where we are today because of that case, right? Now, something that it's very, very interesting that I did want to show you guys is the M2 money supply, right? You guys, right? If you guys look at the M2 money supply on the M1, you can see the kind of the money outflowing of where it's going, right? Here we can see that in fact a lot of money is going into the cryptocurrency market, and the reason being is because once again there's a lot of uncertainty in the markets. We don't know what's going to happen next. And of course, gold has been also rising, so people hedge when there's uncertainty, and when investors think of inflation coming up higher than expected, then we can also clearly see that, which I'll show you guys here on the economic overview. And despite the data that the Fed looks at, inflation for the 10-year bond is still rising. Now it stayed pretty flat at these levels. But usually, if you guys don't know this, the 10-year bond affects everything from car loans, mortgages, and it's something that's very looked upon. So if it keeps rising interest rates, then people are assuming interest rates are going to stay higher and inflation is going to be higher. So what do people do? They hedge. The dollar goes in value. People buy cryptocurrency. Money of M2 flows from equity markets to, of course, cryptocurrency markets as a hedge, right? Not necessarily as a full hedge, but usually that's what's been seen in the past. And so, given that, kind of goes back to why I said in the past couple months, April 7th and April 8th were the best places to buy. I bought at those lows. Those were, I mean, if you bought at those lows, you're up already about 60% on your positions, assuming that you bought large cap stocks. I don't know about middle cap, mid cap stocks. I don't focus on that as much, but I mainly invest in large cap. And so here you can see, just like crypto and real estate, everything is cyclical, right? And it's all basic economics. So given that, okay, look, Bitcoin, we know that. Of course, the M2 money supply, we know that. Then of course that gives me some sort of conviction to say, look, maybe this could be history again, or it'll be something new. I don't know. But given that the market has done actually pretty well with wars, specifically tech, I mean, it's just sent the market to rally even further. Once again, market now is pretty much at all-time highs back again at SPY here. And the last time that we saw that was in January, right? Right when Trump got inaugurated, the whole market was pretty much topped out. We were struggling to make new higher highs. And of course, the uncertainty came in, right, with tariffs. And now it seems like we've gotten that relief. And of course, most recently, there was news that Trump did make a deal in terms of with China, right? So Trump, here, I'll look it up, Trump, China. Um, let's see here, breaking news, has announced that he signed a trade deal with China. So once the social media, or once this is out fully in the social media by big journalist, then I think the market should react unless it's already been factored into the price ahead of time, because that's what the market does. They factor things into advance. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. But once that happens, I mean, we could probably see something very similar to what happened here on April 9th, right? April 9th was that 90-day delay that we had, and the market went crazy. I remember this like yesterday. People made so much money. People bought very, very far out of the money calls, and then instantaneously just made a shit ton of money from that on news, and the market provided an extension play the next day. And this is where I was buying, right? I mean, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, of course, right? But I have my own conviction. This is what I think it is. It is what it is, what it is, right? And another thing that's also very interesting is vol signals, right? Vol control funds. If you guys don't know what that is, vol control funds usually are based off algorithmic volatility strategies where institutions buy. And we're actually seeing, I think, one of the largest institutional buying that we've seen yet, right? And you can see that here. So 114 billion of buying over the next 30 days, which is, yeah, right here. It's saying 1 million buy-in model history. And so given this, we can see a lot of long gamma, specifically very, very hard bid on the market, which means that we might tend to see dips getting bought up more, which we already are seeing some of that. And that comes from pension funds, hedge funds, whatever it be, CTA flows. So it's very, very interesting to see that. So I think going forward now, given that the market's making new highs, I think really there's nothing much stopping it now from just either uncertainty, war, or tariffs, right? And we are starting to see some equities struggle, and specifically retail, with tariffs, right? Because they bought way in advance before tariffs. They had inventory set up for there, and then now, of course, when they start ordering new inventory, you start seeing that the effect of tariffs. And in fact, we saw GDP actually get, I think, revised, and it was actually negative slightly, that it came out. So, but yeah, I think moving forward, I mean, specifically Nvidia. It just made new all-time highs, and if you also bought the same lows along with the other large cap stocks, you would have been up, right? With the simple conviction, my conviction isn't really looking at crazy things, but it's just also market psychology and sentiment, right? What's the fear? Just like in 2008, the whole market crashed and all these other factors, but then the market always recovers, and I think moving forward, the market will recover. We might see some slight downside, but in the end, it always recovers. If you're buying quality stock, of course. Another stock that I did want to talk about here specifically, more into this video, is AMD. I am very, very bullish on AMD. This is not financial advice, but this is a stock that I've been buying aggressively, and I've been really buying at these lows at $78. And I'll put that out there in the public, right? I mean, I could be wrong about this stock, I could be, but in my eyes, AMD is such an undervalued stock. Yes, it's trading at a higher PE ratio. However, AMD may not even be a bigger leader, right? A lot of the conversation and things that I get from people is, look, Nvidia is such a strong stock. AMD is never going to reach Nvidia's level, right? And maybe that's not the point, but the point being that, look, is that it's still free cash flows are really, really good. Fundamentally, I think it's still really decent stock, in my opinion, at least. And given that everyone is eyeing Nvidia, you're getting less returns. When everyone's looking at a stock, like everyone's looking at it, you get less returns. But when people are buying into something that's like not really seen much as by public, that's where people start then chasing, and you get institutional chasing, right? AMD just had partnerships with Xbox, Saudi Arabia, and of course now their CPU, I think, processing units, which are actually what's moving the stock, right? We've seen the stock just insanely rally. It broke its 200 EMA, and it's going for a recovery, and I'm very bullish on AMD, and I want to put that out there. Maybe I'm wrong, so be it, and I'm willing to accept that. But once again, kind of my thesis on this is, like, everyone is chasing Nvidia, but no one's looking at AMD. That's actually offering about how much here? I think it was offering about 65% of upside, or it was down 65%. So offering about 184% of upside. So if this is correct, we'll see where it goes from here. But once again, not financial advice. This is just what I like to look at. I invest in tech. But yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.